Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Today we'll be talking about a casino that was located at Lake Tahoe, and it was made for kings. That's right, it's the King's Castle Casino that was open from 1969 up until 1974. An interesting casino that had all kinds of things happening on behind closed doors. It didn't last too long, but the property is still being used today as the Grand Lodge Casino that opened up in 2016. Now, let's get to the history. The owner and man who would have the vision of King's Castle was Nathan Jacobson. Jacobson was the president of Caesar's Palace in Vegas during the 1960s. Before that, he was an insurance executive and a part owner of the Baltimore Bullets basketball team. He partnered with Jay Sarno to build Caesar's Palace in 1966, was the president until 1969, then became the part owner and operator of the Bonanza Hotel and Casino, and finally found his way to Lake Tahoe to open the King's Castle Hotel and Casino. Jacobson invested around $20 million into the building, and they had a total of 470 rooms. Once it was finally opened, the casino had the look and feel of England's royal architecture. This went for the things that were outside and all the way in, down to the apparel or uniforms that the staff wore. The doorman was a knight in armor, the maitre d' was a prince, and the dining room hostess was a princess. All of the employees that worked there wore a certain uniform. Jacobson wanted it to be an extension of the English royalty motif that permeated the resort. Michelle Fresnay, the designer, says that the costumes boasted very vibrant colors: deep orange, Gainsborough blue, gold, and silver. Things you would have seen across castles in England and those of the royal family. Fabrics primarily were crepes and an imported French silk cotton used on both its shiny and matte sides. Embellishments included pearls, brass, horsehair, gold braided headdresses for the men, tiaras for the women, fox chainmail, and leather. Inside the casino, you could find 5 craps tables, a roulette table, 15 blackjack tables, a 35-seat keno lounge, slot machines, and a baccarat table. The hotel room rates ran from $24 to $32, or anywhere from $45 to $110 for a suite. King's Castle had its grand opening in 1970, where celebrities such as Groucho Marx, Lana Turner, Bob Hope, and many others were in attendance. Alongside opening night, there were some top-name people who would perform at the King's Castle. You were able to find Buddy Hackett, Bobby Stevens, Ike and Tina Turner, B.B. King, Don Rickles, Tony Bennett, and many more. Now, there were also said to be many mysteries that happened behind the scenes, but there's one that stands out the most. Ray Landucci was the keno manager at King's Castle, and in 1973 he wanted to test the honesty of an employee. The employee being James Martin. Landucci's plan was to rig the machine, and the idea was to have Martin blow his nose and comb his hair to signal okay. Then a third man, identified as Norm, was going to take $4,500 on a fraudulent keno card. Martin was suspicious of Landucci's plan, and it didn't go far. Martin reported the idea to Forrest Paul, who was the vice president at King's Castle. Later that night, he monitored the phone conversation between Martin and Landucci and found out all the information that he needed. Jacobson didn't take any time to confront Landucci about it, and they got to talking. Things would get very hectic, and all the men involved were furious as to what was happening. Jacobson, in a sense, kidnapped Landucci that night and wouldn't let him leave, even calling his wife at one point, letting her know that he was staying to work an extra shift. Jacobson and Bruno, Jacobson's bodyguard, were charged with kidnapping, coercion, and false imprisonment. Now, despite beating the charges, the casino would end up going bankrupt. Jacobson announced he was retiring, and in 1972 sold King's Castle for $23 million. It would reopen briefly, but would never be the same, and it failed again. After that, the property was forfeited back to the Teamsters Union Pension Fund. Aside from the mysteries, kingdom feels, entertainment, and costumes, there's one thing that many chip collectors love about the King's Castle, and those are the chips. King's Castle has some amazing chips produced for the casino. A majority of the chips were manufactured by T.R. King Co., and then you had a few chips manufactured by Christy Jones. You could find yourself playing with 50 cent, $1, $5, $25, $100, and $500 chips in the 70s with some amazing artwork. One of my favorite casino chip artworks, that is for sure. And there are people across the world that can agree with that, and they're amazing sets that they've built. Hopefully one day I can have a mini playable set of these amazing chips, but that's going to do it for the King's Castle casino history. From exciting journeys leaving Las Vegas, moving to Lake Tahoe to open a kingdom-themed casino, amazing costumes to the drama that happened behind closed doors, the King's Castle will be in casino history forever. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and if you did, please drop a like down below. If you have any comments or memories from the King's Castle, leave those in the comments, and if you're new here, please consider subscribing. Thanks again for watching, and it's been Oscar, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.